Knowledge is Power, Francis Bacon. From the book Meditaciones Sacrae. Some of you may have heard of this quote before, but do you really understand it? I'll explain in this video, starting with the Google search. Knowledge is power signifies that acquiring information and expertise allows for control, influence, and capability. That's a slightly brief definition of the quote, but let's simplify things. First, what is knowledge? Knowledge is the facts, information, and skills acquired by a person through experience or education. The theoretical or practical understanding of a subject. For example, if I read the first 20 pages of a book and understand them to an extent where I could briefly explain them, then I have a brief knowledge of the first 20 pages of the book. Another example is, if someone showed me what's inside the room, and I had the ability to vividly memorize it, then I have the knowledge of what's inside the room. Next in the quote is power. Power, in general, means the ability to produce an effect or influence something. An example is when I spoke in front of a class. That means that I had the power to speak. But what if someone interrupted me during that time? Does that mean that I have lost that power? No. It means that my power was hindered. It was still there, but it was cut off shortly by another force of power. Another example is you, the viewer. If you have understood what I just explained earlier about power and knowledge, then you have the power to understand. And you may have the power to hear and see. Well, unless you're deaf or blind. Now, how does one get power? Power comes from the circumstances and conditions that we or our surroundings have. Like gravity, for example. Because of gravity, you are disabled of the power to float to certain heights. That environmental or universal law is what influenced what you have power at. But you have to consider that the gravity of the earth is also protecting you from getting sucked by the gravity of the sun. Specifically, both celestial bodies have set a condition. The Earth's condition may have stopped you from being able to fly without aid, but it did help you from the condition of the sun, which is to pull anything that doesn't have an ability to escape it. So maybe that universal law or condition of gravity may have helped you more than it hinders you. This is also where knowledge comes in. Let's say you acquire a piece of very important information regarding a war. As I explained earlier, that is a type of knowledge. And that knowledge is also a type of condition that gives you power. But that begs a question. Does all knowledge strengthen or give power? Well, that depends on what knowledge it is, or who bears that knowledge. Remember that you can decide what to do with the knowledge that you have. You can help people, destroy people, spread it to others, or even just keep it for yourself. And that goes the same for other people. Other people can use their knowledge against you, or in other words, their power against you. As I have said, power can be obtained through certain conditions and circumstances, but those conditions and circumstances are also influenced by the power itself. Imagine a teacher. They have the power to teach, and using that power, the teacher made a condition that gives you the power to learn from your lessons. We can conclude in this example that the power can become a condition. And as I have said, a condition is the root of other powers. Hence, the power of the teacher became the seed itself that helped the students activate their power of learning. Just like how an adverb can modify another adverb, power can influence another power. Now, with all of that explained, the last thing you have to keep in mind is that just because you have a strong power in one aspect does not mean that you have an instant success. The status of other powers that you have will influence the total or overall power that you possess. Just like how one bad grade can disrupt a report card with straight A's. I'll further explain this with a simple fictional story. Let's say in a fantasy kingdom, a new king was crowned. The king has a lot of power because he has access to all the knights. He can order them anything and they will obey. Additionally, the king's military power is the highest of all the kingdoms in that world. With these conditions, some people may expect the king to win any battle he faces against all other kingdoms. But they forgot the rule that a power can condition another power. They didn't account for the intellect of the king himself. What if the king had a weak power of intellect? That weakness could affect his military power and possibly rendering it useless. For instance, if you have a very great skill right now, maybe some conditions like being lazy or irresponsible is hindering the skill of yours to take you to success. We all have to account for all the conditions that creates our power, because maybe some conditions are stopping us from our own idea of success. That's the end of this video. Do what you will with that information. But remember to keep it moral. There will be more videos to come. Stay tuned.